Hi, and welcome. I'm Dr. Brown. In this tutorial video, I'm going to be talking about stretching, foam rolling, and myofascial release of the lower extremities, in other words, the legs, okay? We'll start low and work our way up, and we'll start in the back of the legs, work our way up to the hips, and then we'll turn around and I'll demonstrate the front and to the back. I'm only going to demonstrate one side, so you'll want to obviously do both sides, okay? So here we go. We'll start with the foam rolling, and I do that because I do believe that foam rolling should precede stretching. And if you're doing a performance in an activity, you'll want to foam roll before the activity and stretch after the activity. We'll be using these balls as well in a moment, but I'll put them aside for now. We're going to start down with the calf, all right? Most foam rolling it's not pretty, okay? And it really is sort of like not so much of make it up as you go along, but for every different person, foam rolling is gonna look slightly differently, or it's gonna look slightly different. It's just not an exact science, but it's a very effective method, okay? So we're gonna start at the Achilles tendon right above the heel, okay? I'm demonstrating on the right leg now. You'll wanna also do the left leg. A couple of things to mention is, how do you set yourself up? So you can set yourself up with support from the opposite leg, okay? And that will take up some of the resistance or some of the weight from the body so that it's not quite as intense. You can lift that supporting leg and get some little bit more intensity. And you can also do, which is how I'm gonna demonstrate it, get additional intensity by laying one leg over the other. And I like to divide the calf into 3 sections. So in other words, the lower. So I'll roll the lower first, and then I'll turn out and roll the side of the lower, and just that lower 1/3 of that calf. And then you'll turn inward and roll the lower 1/3 of the inner calf, okay? 3 passes is good. If you hit trigger points, stop there and undulate like this for 20 to 30 seconds or until that pain starts to diminish. Okay, and then you'll come up to the second 1/3 and do the same thing, the middle, the outer, and the inner with 3 passes on each one, okay, finding those trigger points and undulating if you need to. And then you'll move down or upward to the last 1/3, all the way to just below the knee joint, okay? This feels wonderful. You're more than likely gonna find some trigger points in the calves, okay? But as you foam roll, you'll find that those trigger points start to melt away and disappear, and you'll wonder where they went. Well, they went to trigger point heaven, okay? And then the inner, okay? So that's the calf, all right? Now the hamstring. Hamstring is very similar to the calf, except it's up here. It's above the knee, and you want to start just above the knee with the same technique. I like this crossover. You can use a support with the leg. You can use just one leg, or this on the opposite leg on top for a little additional intensity. And once again, rolling 3 passes each time. So that would be 1, 2, and 3, okay? And again, if you find those trigger points, I would stop and undulate a little bit. You can also windshield wiper back and forth that way. And then you'll wanna also do the outer hamstring by turning the toe out, and the inner hamstring by turning the toe inward, and then come up to that second 1/3. Okay, doing all 3 planes, middle, inner, and outer, and then up to the last 1/3. And you'll want to come right to the sit bone on that, and back, right to the sit bone, and back, and again going to the outer and the inner on that, and undulating and stopping on any trigger points to make sure that you work those out. So that's the entire back of the leg. And then we're gonna flip around, and I'm gonna demonstrate with the left leg, okay, since it's close to you. And we're gonna start with the lower leg, and the muscles in front of the shins, okay? These muscles are called the anterior tibialis, and they're real important to roll. This is on the outer side of the shin bone, And I like to roll the entire muscle at one time, and I'm doing both of them simultaneously, okay? Just like that. So from in front of the ankle all the way to just below the knee, and it's on the outer, this muscle is on the outer portion of the shin bone, okay? It's not here, it's here, okay? So you're actually turning your toes to face each other a little bit so that you can hit that part. And again, that undulation if you need to, all right? And then we'll work up to the quadricep, okay? And the same thing applies. You'll just come down. I like to place my forearms on the floor for support up here, okay? It's a little bit of an upper body workout, actually. And starting just above the knee, I would divide my quadricep into 3 zones again. The lower one, just above the knee, and then you have the middle one, and then the last third that comes right up to that hip pointer bone. Let me demonstrate. So I'm going to do one at a time, and I'm going to place the opposite leg, in this case the right leg, on top of the left leg, okay, just for a little bit more intensity. But you can do it with supporting into the ground with that toe, or you can do it with just that leg hanging. I like that extra intensity, and I'll roll that lower 1/3. Again, finding any trigger points, I will undulate on those until there's a release. And then after 3 passes, I'll go to the outer quadricep or thigh muscle. The same thing applying with 3 passes and making sure you address the trigger points. And then the inner thigh by pointing the toe outward, just like that. And then coming up through the 3 sections, you have then the middle section of the quad, middle, outer, and inner. And then you come up to that upper portion. And you'll actually work the foam roller all the way up, I'll demonstrate, all the way up into the crease, okay? So that bone here, the hip pointer bone, is where you're coming up to, okay? The quadricep actually attaches to that point right there. That's one of the reasons for that point to be there. So you want to do the full length from here to here. Then you want to do the infamous iliotibial band, okay, on the side. And so that's the side of the leg here. Very important. That muscle, particularly on runners for some reason, but others that are on their feet a lot, which are most of us, will have some tension in the iliotibial band or the side of the thigh. And the way to get at that is to come down, and with this one, you're more than likely going to want some support with the opposite leg, but you can do the same rules apply. You can do one leg or both on top. I'm going to use support. I have exceptionally tender iliotibial bands, so I want to get a little support from the weight of my leg, and so I'll do it like this. And I'll also, again, divide it into 3 quadrants. From the knee and just above, 1/3 way up the outer thigh, doing 3 passes, working those trigger points if I find them, and then come to that second third. So you're coming down to that second third, 3 passes, and remember to take care of those trigger points. And then the last third would be from here to that hip pointer as well. That same hip pointer that we were focusing on for the quadricep, it's the same point that the iliotibial attaches into. It's one of its attachment points, just like that, okay? And last but not least, on the lower leg would be the inner thigh, okay? The inner thigh is an interesting one to address, okay? What you'll do is point the foam roller about 45 degrees away from the head, okay? So that it's perpendicular to the thigh, and here you have it. Again, using support of the upper body, take the weight off of the leg a little bit, and you can increase that weight by adjusting how much of your upper body weight goes into it. Start just above the knee and roll that 1/3. Again, finding any trigger points, you'll want to undulate a little bit. And then you do that second third. Okay, 3-time pass. And then up into the groin. Okay? And that's the adductors or inner thigh muscles. Okay, that's how we foam roll those bad boys. Okay, and I'm going to demonstrate some stretching now of the lower extremity. All right, we're gonna start low with the calf, okay? This stretching strap is amazing because it has these handles on it. We're gonna place the foot just at the ball of the foot like that into here. Find a nice distance where you can hold on and actually use these as handles to get a grip. And this is a resistance band. So the idea in stretching with this band is that you want to apply pressure away or into the band for a moment. As you're pulling back towards my body with the band, I'm actually pushing into the band with my foot. And then I release and get more of an angle on my ankle like that and hold that, okay? And repeat that 3 times. And I'll push again. And as I come back, I like to get more range of motion the second time. And then a third time, all the time resisting away from the band, and then hold that last one for 10 seconds. Okay, so that's for the calf muscle. All right. For the hamstring, you can stay down here, keep your foot in the same loop, hold on here, and depending upon your flexibility, you can either have the opposite leg bent, which will make it a little bit easier, okay, if you're less flexible, or straight, which puts a little bit more tension into the hamstring. I'm gonna do it with the legs bent. And again, as I pull here, I'm pushing my heel towards the floor. So I'm engaging my hamstring first, and then I relax it and get more of a stretch. Hold for a second, and then push again, and get a third one. Push again, and hold for 10 seconds. Okay, that's the hamstring. And for the quadricep, this is always an interesting one. Okay, I really enjoy the quadricep stretch. Place the foot through the hoop like this. You're gonna turn facing down, all right? Grab the strap and bend the knee like that. Now, what I'm first gonna do is resist into the strap. So I'm trying to straighten my knee against the resistance of the strap. I'm not letting it straighten, obviously. And then I'll relax and stretch more. Hold that for a moment, not for too long, maybe 2 or 3 seconds, and then push again and relax and get that stretch. And then do that a third time and come back and then hold the stretch for 10 seconds. So what's so important with this strap is the resistance into the strap and then the rest period, okay? So you wanna make sure that whenever you're using the strap, that you engage the stretch by resisting against the band, and then you rest and relax and allow that muscle to lengthen, okay? And last but not least would be the balls. And the one thing I'm just gonna show on the ball, because sometimes that anterior shin movement can be very difficult on the foam roller and very intense. So you might start just by doing simple roll with the ball down along that muscle. And again, if you find that trigger point, you can roll like this and work that trigger point out. Okay, one last aspect of using the ball would be also for the calf muscle. It's a nice tool for rolling out the calf muscle. You're using the same rules as the foam roller. You'd want to divide the calf into 3 sections, outer and inner as well, and do 3 passes, hold on those trigger points. Can't go wrong with that, okay? So thanks for listening. Hope you learned something from this video. Until next time, thank you and stay well.